Welcome back, you guys. I'm Tassie, and for today, I am having one of my favorite soul food kind of dish. It's basically brats with rice. Now, with this brat, this is the hot Italian brat, and I basically cut it up. This is with the casing. You can get the meat alone in grocery markets in Minnesota, at least. And then basically what you do is you stir fry it with garlic. And then I like to put eggs in mine so that I get some fried eggs in there, but you don't have to. And then, of course, green onions. And there's no other sauce because the Italian brats, they already have a seasoning of its own. So I just carry over that flavor and I just put green onions in there. And I eat it over a bed of rice. So it's actually really, really good. This is like my food that I grew up eating. And so like my family and I, we always made this. And I'm going to go ahead and get a nice spoonful here. So growing up, we didn't put the eggs in there, but I like to put the eggs because whenever I have like leftovers, because like the brats, it makes a grease of its own. So I like to put the eggs in there. And then sometimes I'll actually put white rice and make a fried rice out of it. I will use like a dark and a light soy sauce. And I love brats with rice. And there are fresh Thai peppers in here. I just chopped up and threw on top. I actually introduced this combo to my boyfriend. So now like we fight over it a lot. Same thing with bacon and rice. A woman at work had overheard my conversation with my coworker. One time, I had gone out with my girlfriends and we had some bacon and rice left over, so they packed it up for me. And my boyfriend was hungry, so he ate mine. And it was actually for me to eat work the next day, but he ate it. And so it's like I'm always fighting him for like bacon and rice and brats and rice. But the other woman had overheard my conversation. And she had never heard of the combo of eating bacon with rice. And when I was in Vegas, I made the mistake of finding a buffet that had bacon and rice. I ate a lot of bacon and rice. My leftovers here, because this is a whole package with like 5 brats. My leftovers, I always bring it to work to eat the next day. You definitely need green onions in here. And I do put quite a bit in here. I put like half a cup of chopped up green onions. Like a whole bunch, basically, that you can get at the grocery store. I'll put it all in there. Now for the brats, like the flavor, I always get the hot Italian. You can get any level. You can just get Italian, like mild Italian brats too, if you don't want it spicy. And you just need that Italian flavor. But growing up, we sometimes did use just regular flavor brats, like the original. But as an adult, my favorite, it is the hot Italian. Now, if you are gluten-free, because my boyfriend's gluten-free, you can only use certain types of brats for this dish. Because like Johnsonville, which is a popular brand in the U.S., they have wheat in their brats. So just be very careful about that. So I always have to find like a generic brand or at the actual area where like, you can order meats and stuff, like specialty meats that they make. I'll order it from there. Because they don't add like a lot of extra fat and they don't add wheat in theirs. So, like, not to scare anybody, but I noticed lately, you know, like, I've been doing my vlogs on ghostly updates, but I noticed that whenever I do one, there's a fly in my house. And it's weird because I don't open up my windows, and I'm always cleaning every time I eat, so I don't leave food sitting out. I don't know how the fly always gets in. But it always happens after I do a vlog. Like, I'm talking about, like, demons and ghosts. And then a fly comes in. He just, like, buzzes alive somewhere. I don't even know where. But there's one here now. And what's even crazier, it will, like, just die. Like, I'll come home one day and it's, like, laying by my pillow. And it's dead. But it's just, like, staring at me. And it's, like, no one squished it. He always, like, dies on my bed. And that's where I always film. I'm just saying. And it was funny because my brother and I, we were talking. And my brother, he does, like, the Ouija board. Okay, he doesn't do it at his house. He refuses to do it at his house in case it's real. So he will only do it at someone else's house. How horrible is that? Oh my god. Now, the one time he did the Ouija board, he bought it off of Amazon. It's a Hasbro game. They did it at someone's house who was willing for them to do it there. And he says it didn't work. But when they came home, there was like 30 gnats just in the kitchen, just swarming. And they don't know how the gnats just came about either, because they don't leave food out either. So they were like, where? It was weird because it was right after he did the Ouija board. I'm just saying. When I was younger, I did the Ouija board. One time, me and my friends, we did it at a park. And we asked it a question that nobody else knew, that only I knew. And it gave me the real answer. And I was like, you know, I don't know how to end the Ouija board. I just like threw my hands in the air and like ran off. But, in case you're really wondering, don't do the Ouija board in your own house. Don't do it at someone else's house either, okay? Do it like in a public space. I don't really know. But it's kind of like you'll connect to anything. You don't know what you're going to connect to, though. So, like, there's, like, no guidance. You're just asking for anything. Unless you know how to ask specifically for just something, right? And you actually need somebody who has the ability to sense the spirits. Then it'll work. Like, that person may not even know that they are like an empath to that kind of stuff. But because what happens, it's like a feeling that comes over you, and then you will be able to move it to the right answer, but it's actually the spirit wanting those answers. But only certain people have that ability. I'm just saying. If you really wanted to. I'm not responsible for anything that happens if you do it. As an adult now, I would not play the Ouija board. I don't have to. That's why. See, this always happens. I always eat so much rice and I have all this meat left over. I don't have enough rice. I may have to go grab more rice. I'll be back. I have returned. It looks like a lot of rice, right? This always happens whenever I eat this dish. I'll end up grabbing like more rice. And then I have too much rice. So now I have to go back and get like another piece of brat or something. Yeah, I am not promoting the Ouija board. My brother, he had a really hard time finding somebody who was willing to play with him. I can't even remember who actually did it with him. And my brother, he's one of those type of people who, it's like, he completely believes in it, but he's always such a skeptic. So he will purposely look for ghosts and like loves to hear stories about it. And I don't know, he's like really into like that kind of like hunting, and he wants to prove it basically. But whenever scary stuff happens, who does he run to? So I'm just like, why do you keep like, but that's just the kind of personality he has. He's just like, he needs to prove it, to see it, to believe it. But when he has, he'll like, well, that's not enough. I need to see it again. Like, he needs to be able to control when it happens. And I'm like, don't work that way. But crazy stuff has happened to him. But it's like not enough. He needs to see more and more and more. It is funny though because he swears whenever I'm around, crazy stuff happens to him. So he always says I bring demons in. My boyfriend says the same thing. Tassie and her demons. Because he'll always get, you know, like sleep paralysis? When you're sleeping and like a demon comes and gets on top of you and stuff like that. But you're like awake, but your body's asleep still. You can't move and get out of it. It always happens when I'm around. You'll always have dreams of like things that involve me. And it's funny because like I have friends who are supposed to be shamans, like monk shamans, and they always dream of me whenever there's a demon. And I think like in their mind, I'm a cue for them, like where they become aware that something's wrong. That's why Tassie's here. Or they'll keep looking for me in their dreams because they're like, Tassie's gonna save me. Tassie's gonna help me. So I always appear in my friends' dreams when they're having like a nightmare and something horrible's happening to them. Sorry, this ended up being like a ghostly vlog. Speaking of which, I actually had a dream the other night. I woke up at 4 in the morning. Whenever this happens, it really means it is something. But I had a dream I was trying to save my sister who lives in California. She's my older sister. And then I saw a side profile of her, and there was a demon standing right behind her. And the demon turned and he looked at me. And his body looked like it's like black, like tar. But it was like staticky and fuzzy, almost like an animal. Like it was fur, but it was static. And he turned and he looked at me, and his eyes were like bright white. Like you're looking at like flashlights. They were super bright white. And we both stared at each other, and he like acknowledged me that I could see him. And then I left her. I left my sister in my dream because what am I going to do? So then I woke up at like 4 in the morning, and I was like, oh my God, like, should I say anything to my sister? And basically she needs like, in the monk community, you know, like whenever there's like a demon like that attached to somebody, you need to have like a ritual done to get rid of it. It's a lot of work. And you have to find a shaman who can see the demon and be able to defeat it. And in California, so, yeah, so I debated about not telling her because I was kind of like, she may not find anybody, you know. And then what happened was I ended up just telling her, and she's actually seen him. He looks just like what I saw in the dream. He's very muscular, and she senses him all the time, and she can feel him always like kind of trying to sit on her and crush her. Oh, yeah. So that is a ghostly update blog. And I am done eating, you guys. Thanks for watching. I'm going to have to put like warnings in the titles for this video so people don't think it's just food. Alright, thanks for watching, you guys.